Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Warframe Wednesdays. I'm your host with the most, Francois878, and in today's episode we're going to be talking about the focus system and how poorly it has been implemented into the game from a grinding standpoint. And for those of you who don't know what the focus system is, the focus system is a piece of endgame content that allows you to call the operator into battle, and the operator will use a special ability and will also unlock different upgrades for your frame. Now, those upgrades can range from anything from invisibility to increased energy regen to increased melee crit damage and crit chance. It just depends on what particular focus skill tree that you have assigned to your frame for that particular mission. Now, gameplay-wise, I really like the way that focus was implemented. I think that it flows really well with the already fast-paced feel of Warframe. The problem that I have with the focus system is how much of a obnoxious grind it is to actually unlock anything on the focus skill trees. Now, when the focus system was first introduced in Update 18, the only way you could get focus affinity was to get enemy kills yourself. Teammate kills didn't count towards your focus affinity. Completing objectives didn't count towards your focus affinity. And what this did was just pretty much start this trend of anti-cooperation and anti-teamwork to arise in Warframe. And that's not good. Warframe, at its core, is a cooperative experience. It's been made for you to have fun with your friends by combining different abilities and combining different weapons and having fun obliterating enemies. And the focus system was not only a huge, massive, disgusting grind, but on top of that, the only way to actually get any affinity, any experience to level up those abilities was to kill steal and ignore objectives. It's a nightmare. Now, recently, the focus system has been updated, so team kills do count towards your individual focus affinity, which is awesome. It's exactly what we wanted. Unfortunately, the original values, the original percentages of what your normal affinity got turned into focus affinity was decreased. Now, instead of 5 or 7% of your normal affinity getting turned into focus affinity, it's, I believe, 1.25% and 1.75%. Which, granted, those are now, 1.25 and 1.75% of all kills from you and your teammates, but that's still a huge nerf. And it sucks. And completing objectives still doesn't get you any focus affinity. It's just shared affinity with teammates. And it's still anti-teamwork, because with that they also introduced the convergence system, which is this way to basically, it multiplies your focus gain by 6 times, but the way you do that is you have to track down this random floating orb that spawns every few minutes in the level that you're playing. And for a short time after you pick up that orb, you get 6 times the focus affinity. Now, what this does, DE's, I believe the general idea behind this was good. They want people to, they want it to be, focus gain to be more proactive. They want you to really be able to, they don't want it just to be this passive thing. They want you to actually have to go do something in order to get it. So to me, it sort of works. But the problem with convergence is that once a convergence orb spawns, the person, whoever it spawns for, will run and get it and ignore objectives and ignore, trying to revive other players, and will just go for kills for the next 45 seconds. That's all they'll do. And that also creates this energy of anti-teamwork, because you're focused on getting kills instead of helping your teammates guard objectives or reviving or using certain abilities, whatever. It's less. It's still anti-teamwork and anti-cooperation, just in a different way, And granted, personally, the way I think to fix that would be just to take the convergence system out altogether. But DE probably won't do that. So if they made the convergence system less essential to you getting any sort of focus affinity for that level, that would make it a little bit easier, I think. Because right now, your focus gains is so tiny when you don't have a convergence orb active. It sucks, You almost have to have a convergence orb active to really get any sort of focus affinity gain. It's a nightmare. And the worst part of all this is that someone at DE actually signed off on these systems. Someone said, this focus system will harbor anti-cooperation and anti-teamwork in a very cooperative-based game. Sounds great. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. The focus system has been so poorly implemented into this game, I don't even know what else to say. It's a nightmare. And hopefully, it's still an open beta. Nothing has been set in stone yet for the focus system. So all I can say is I hope and pray to the Lotus or the Queens or whoever I need to pray to that DE gets their head out of their asses and fixes the focus system, because it's a nightmare right now. Thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate it.